Men of Reddit, what myth about men is 100% untrue and infuriates you when you hear it? The idea that we don't also suffer from body image issues. It's more common than you think. This is so true. As a woman, I always thought men don't give a shit about their looks, but after taking more notice to men, they are as insecure as women about their weight, height, shoulders width, etc. It's really sad how some media ads are so focused on women's body positivity that a few promotes it at the expense of men. For example, don't let a shirty looking man tell you how you should look. Etc. It's really sad how some media ads are so focused on women's body positivity that a few promotes it at the expense of men. For example, don't let a shirty looking man tell you how you should look. That men are naturally inferior parents. OHH, daddy is babysitting today. No, it's called being a father. You silly twat. All day every day. As a mom, I also despise this. No. My husband is not doing me a favor by watching the kids. He does not deserve laurel wreaths or confetti. He is an active participant in their parenting. Men only think about sex. Bitch. Sometimes I just wanna watch a movie. I'm only interested in sex if that's all you have to offer. Sorts them out real quick. I mean, she'll hate you, but you'll win that conversation. Every woman I've ever dated that I had a serious conversation about emotions with has stopped talking to me afterwards. It's not a small number and I do not have major issues. Apparently just being sad for a few minutes is enough to make you a worthless human being. That without my wife I would be incapable of taking care of my children. Nothing ropes my goat more than when I'm out with my kids, 3 boys, and I get some offhand comment, oh babysitting the kids today huh? No, I'm raising my boys to be good men by being an active role model in their lives. Like a father should be. I'm a man here. Is it true that kids need food every day? Can't you just feed them a bunch once a week to save time? The typical stupid man in commercials. Bumbling and fumbling with shit while the smart wife looks on with her get a load of this guy look. Agree. I find this equally cringe-worthy to the stereotypical stupid, often blonde, woman in media. It's not funny. Just cringy. And I get it, having a dumb sidekick can be funny, but why do they always have to be charged with gender stereotypes? I hate the stigma that men aren't allowed to have feelings and that abuse against men goes unrecorded and noticed. Anger is a feeling. And one of the only acceptable ones. Men make a lot more sense when you realize we are trained to suppress every emotion but anger. Even happiness we have to kind of take low key. But anger is manly x 2000. That men don't like baking. I love baking, it's just the best thing in the world. I make a killer cheesecake. Also man. That we only talk about girls and how big their boobs are, like where did it come from? I saw a map of porn searches. Boobs versus butt. And in most countries, people search for butt porn more than boobs porn. In fact, the only countries who searched for boobs more often were Western and Eastern countries. And even then Iceland and Mongolia were on team butt. All men love professional sports. Some do. And good for them. I don't. Not even a little. Don't care about trades or standings or drafts or beefs or stats or championships or madness or records. Not into it. I don't hate it. But I'm not interested either. Totally ambivalent. The dudes don't know how to cook. It's very manly. You can make a girl very happy with a decent meal. Men love to eat, but society says that cooking is girly. I'm tired of the man flu stereotype. Me. I don't get sick very often. Most of the time. Even if I'm not feeling well. I still come to work and do my job and just suffer through it. The only time I have to stay home sick is when I know for sure I'm going to vomit. What I don't appreciate is the insinuation that all men act like babies whenever they get sick. I don't go around advertising how terrible I feel. But if I'm in bed in the middle of the day, I'm probably just fighting a fever and or waiting for the next time I throw up. Is that being a baby? Or is it allowing my body to fight off an illness? Exactly the way it's designed to do. I hate when people learn I'm a male Single parent and the assumption is always how often do you have your child? I have my child 100% of the time and do this on my own. My kid is my world and always be. Makes me sad to always see a bunch of hype for the single moms killing it on their own. What about us dads? I hear all the time that there's two types of men, ones that have been caught cheating and ones who have not been caught yet. It is so stupid, I would never cheat. Irony for me is I've known several female cheaters and not a single male cheater. Obviously men cheat. It's just funny how wrong the phrase is. It's not really a myth, but I hate when a girl gets FK'd over by some fuckboy and a huge thread on Twitter starts about how all men are the same and cheat and FCK over people. Most of us just want a nice girl and not to cheat. There is an entire culture on Twitter of all men are trash, and as a man, it's definitely quite humorous a lot of the time, but man, sometimes it does get old. All men are rapists. Ish to you not, someone said to me, okay, but name one guy that doesn't give you rappy vibes. I just f***ing walked away. The correct response to this is your dad, because then she either has to concede her argument or call her dad rappy. Side note. Doesn't work if she has an actual rapist as a father. That manspreading is sexual. I only hear women complain about how it's sexual and that men are trying to make them uncomfortable. But let me tell you. First of all, I'm gay. So if there's women around and I'm not sitting with my thighs pressed firmly together, it's not because I'm trying to make them feel uncomfortable or that I want to have sex with them. It's that I'm not trying to crush my dick. Or I'm hot and trying to help cool down. Second of all, have they even thought about the fact that men might not want them? I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. But men aren't supposed to like cooking, gardening, decorating their house, etc. Double quote. No, Karen. This is America. I am allowed to like whatever the hell I want, as long as it doesn't harm anyone else, and you can't tell me otherwise. It's called life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, bitch. You are a guy, so you must be good at crafting and mechanics. Double quote. Like. No. Don't just reject your problem on me because you think my gender can fix it, goddammit. Yep. I can look at a Warhammer model and tell you what will need pinned or magnetized. Your car? Don't have a f***ing clue. Men like to be cuddled. Being the big spoon all the time is boring. I've never been a little spoon, and a few days ago I had a dream where I was just walking around when suddenly my who lives in another country right now, so I haven't seen her for months, appeared behind my back and hugged me. It was so nice to be a little spoon. Even if it's a dream, I still have this wonderful warm feeling that our foreskin grows and we have to trim it. That is simply not true. Most men tie it back like a ponytail. I have mine in a French braid. I recently have been letting it grow out. A few more months and I can finally do the belt trick. Men are inherently sloppy, disorganized, and can't do basic household chores. After numerous relationships where I was the organized clean one and being gaslit by some that my not wanting to live in filth is somehow a faulting and not their sloppy lifestyle, I have determined that myth is a f***ing lie. That we're all sensitive about our size. I can't help that I'm built like a Ken doll. So why worry about it? I applaud the monumental effort it took to jump on each of those keys and type out your response with your tiny doll body. 1. That men can't get raped. Male RP victim here. Yes. We can. But we're told that we should like it because of the unhealthy stereotype that we're supposed to be sex obsessed. 2. Beer and sports fixated. Nope. 3. The either or view that you're either a feminist or not. And if you're not, you're obviously against feminism. After all, you have a penis. Hard pass on that bullshit. I have too much on my personal plate right now to engage in the luxury of choosing a side in gender politics. Neutrality on this topic is a perfectly valid stance. All men are the same. Like, fam, relax. I saw a pic on Instagram I think that have said something like, if all men are the same then why do you take so damn long to choose one, lol. It isn't something that I hear, but it does speak very loudly. There are only 2 shelters for male victims of spouse abuse in all of the USA as of 2017. Going by the number of male shelters, it would seem that it is next to unheard of for men to be abused by their partner. Yet the website for the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence states 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have been victims of a severe physical violence, e.g. beating, burning, strangling, or be an intimate partner in their lifetime. Worse is that when we try to speak up about it, we often face accusations of trying to take attention away from domestic violence against women. Yes, women are more often the victim, but that doesn't mean men never are. Can we not just all agree that domestic violence is bad without turning it into an argument about gender? Some men need help too. All men are pigs. That phrase is so sexist. Women are just as piggish as men. If someone says that and it's a girl, just say, "Tell me how you feel after I say this." All women are whores. If it's a guy, just call him a pig. That we are threatened by an intelligent woman. Intelligence is sexy. That we somehow are lesser parents because we didn't give birth. I love my son and I care for him every day. A friend of ours is a stay-at-home dad. But we both get stereotyped almost every time we leave the house with that "oh, helping out mommy today?" shit. Physical playing or roughhousing is training boys to be violent. Sexists. Abusers. No. It's just fun. But a parent should stop it before they get too rough. Can't believe people believe this. It's been scientifically proven that, especially when they're younger, boys show affection through physical activity. Me and my brother used to wrestle all the time and the both of us are alright. Any myth where a guy chimes in and says "I'm a guy" and confirm this, and turns it into a joke. Way to undermine everyone trying to fight against negative stereotypes. It's the absolute worst. Countless guys with massive egos. Constant horrible thoughts. Sex addiction. Or ouchy attitudes, say shitty like whatever, we all do it. Like no. Don't push your bullshit onto me as a way to excuse your shittiness. I, and most other guys I know, are nothing like you. The idea that masculinity is toxic. There's a big difference between masculinity and toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is not liking trucks, guns, hunting, going to the gym, and finding women attractive. Toxic masculinity is shaming men because their interests aren't in a box of what people consider manly, treating them like they're less of a man if they are skinny fat, and pressuring them into making sexual advances on every girl they meet. That we always pee standing up. If I get the chance, i.e. not being chased by a bear in the woods while cutting lumber and admiring my luscious beard, or rescuing kittens from a fire, I'm 100% sitting my ass down. I'm tired, lazy, and pretty sure even my DCK itself has arthritis. The mansplaining thing seems kinda off. As though my perspective is worth markedly less regardless of my qualities or life experiences just because I'm a white dude. The next time a woman throws "thank you for mansplaining," try throwing back and "thank you for womplaining" about it. No end of fun. Our farts stink worse. In the interests of a balanced discussion, I feel it's right that I inform you that my farts could kill a moose. I eat bad foods. That none of us do skincare, that we only use 3 inches 1 soap. Some of us were raised right. That women are cleaner than men. Men don't care about cleanliness. That we can't handle the common cold. It obviously affects us differently than it affects some women. Hey. It's real swell that maybe you had a mild reaction to a cold. But that doesn't mean we're wussies when the same cold knocks us on our asses. I've found my wife can't handle a stubbed toe, bee sting, mosquito bite, or a mild burn. I can shrug most of these things off easily. That all men don't want stable, loving, monogamous relationships or children. Many do, and are really great guys. I never understood why so many people have trouble finding a guy who wants a family. Almost all my friends do, both the single and married ones. Masculine means being forceful or violent. Take a look at Robert Plant in the 70s. The guy wore some girl jeans and probably had sex with tons of women. Probably the epitome of man for some people. I don't want my manhood measured by violence or my ability to dominate someone. Locker room talk. I remember being so upset when the Access Hollywood tapes broke. First of all, locker room talk doesn't really exist. Certainly not in the capacity of describing a sexual assault. Have I heard dudes say things like, "She's hot. We finally hooked up." And even on occasional, "I'd hit that," although this one's way less common. Yeah, maybe sometimes. Overall though, locker room talk is a goddamn myth. The idea that some dude is in a locker room describing his sexual assault and other dudes are just standing there listening or even egging him on is ludicrous. I reckon someone would get their ass whooped for talking like that in a room full of dude. I don't know if anyone else has mentioned it, but I hate how men, particularly fathers, are objectified as idiots in television. Al Bundy, Homer Simpson, Ray Romano, Doug Heffernan to name a few. Men are portrayed on television as complete dolts that without a strong woman presence they would surely chop their own arm off with a spatula. I'm with the guys above. Not only can't we be emotional, but we also have to fit into a body type, and we're also generally considered misguided morons by anyone who watches television. That men are less crazy than women. I totally agree that men and women are differently crazy. But after enough experience I believe that everyone's crazy curve with wild highs or sustained lows ends up with the same total area under the curve. Or BUCs, units of craziness. That men don't face any social or legal problems in developed countries. Couldn't be more wrong. That we hide our emotions because we're taught to. Sometimes they just literally don't exist. I'm not all giddy and glee every time I see a puppy. Get over it. Sometimes things that upset you literally do nothing to me. Stop insisting that we have a problem with suppressing emotions, please. Couldn't agree more. Every time someone says men don't emote enough, all I can think of from my personal experience, why the FCK do you feel entitled to me expressing to you? It's not always that men are thought not to share, sometimes they just don't want to. Cause it's personal. That all straight men are homophobic. I'm gay and most of the homophobes I have encountered have been female. It's like they take personal offense to it. As if I told them they are ugly or something. That when a woman sees a children and smiles to it, it's not bad. But when a man smiles to a children, all think that the man is a predator or will kidnap the children. That losing a boner means I'm not attracted to her. I could lose a boner for 1,000,001 reasons, but if I weren't attracted to you, then me, you and my boner would never be together in the first place, dummy. That men don't face any social consequences for dating many girls or having casual sex. During high school I was in a significant amount of short-term relationships, and across the years the voices spread like fire. I've been rejected many times because girls think that I'm a fuckboy or someone not serious enough or that only thinks about sex. You get shamed for your sexual life and relationships regardless of sex. And men that deny it haven't ever been in the situation to tell. That all men enjoy alcohol. I'm underage. But I once drank a spoonful of wine and I hated it. In my country there is no legal drinking age. Only a social construct. I've also met other men who doesn't like alcohol. However, in my country, there is a large drinking culture. And people, especially men, are expected to drink. And people at party will literally force or guilt trip you into drinking. This is seriously one of my biggest fears of my future adult life.